Hello and welcome to Simplilearn Introduction to PMP Certification course. This is the first of the 14 lessons provided by Simplilearn on PMP exam preparation. This is the introductory lesson and it's a must-read for all the 13 remaining lessons as well. Please make sure that you have access to the other 13 lessons to fully comprehend the course. The last lesson, that is, Lesson 14, is on professional and social responsibility of project managers. This used to be a separate topic to be tested in PMP exam. PMP exam takers were scored on professional and social responsibility, just like they were scored on project initiation or project planning. But starting 31st of August 2011, PMI is not testing it separately, but you can expect questions related to professional and social responsibility embedded throughout the exam. We have still retained this topic as a separate chapter for you to understand the professional and social expectations PMI has from certified project managers. Please also note that all our 5 practice tests are aligned with the new exam format rolled out by PMI. Version 5, 2013. Let us first set up the agenda of this lesson. As indicated in the previous slide, this is an introductory course and it covers areas like what is PMP and PMI. These are terms you will frequently encounter in your conversation with certified project managers or people preparing for this exam. Once you are comfortable with what PMP and PMI is, we will discuss the syllabus of the PMP examination. Next, we will discuss more about the PMP exam itself. For example, we will cover topics like how many questions are there in the exam, what is the pass marks, how many questions are expected from which part of the syllabus, etc. Lastly, we will explain how the Simplilearn PMP Certification course is structured. Going through this part is a must before you start accessing the remaining lessons of this course. What is PMP and PMI? PMP stands for Project Management Professional. It's the name of the certificate awarded to anyone who scores more than the required pass mark in the PMP exam. So if you successfully pass the PMP exam, you become a Project Management Professional, that is, PMP. As evident by the name itself, this certificate is of interest to anyone interested in project management as a career. Let me tell you, PMP is the most recognized individual certification in the area of project management. It's valued worldwide. For many of the project management jobs, it is even a mandatory qualification. PMP is not for project managers from a specific domain. A project manager working in any industry, be it in manufacturing or retail or defense or information technology, can write the PMP exam and upon successful completion can become a PMP. Now let's look at what is PMI. PMI is not for a profit organization who conducts PMP examination. PMI stands for Project Management Institute. PMI is based in the USA and it has a local chapter across the globe. So if you are based in Singapore, you can look for a PMI chapter in Singapore. Such local chapters conduct regular knowledge sharing and networking sessions for people interested in project management. If you need more information about the PMI, you can check out their website www.pmi.org. A PMP certificate is valid for only 3 years. Post completion of this 3-year period, it can be renewed for another 3 years. PMI measures project management experience in units of PDU. PDU means Professional Development Unit. So if you attend a project management class of 1 hour by an expert, it's equivalent to, say, 1 PDU. If you write a white paper on project management related topic, it may be equivalent to 5 PDU. PMI has detailed guidelines on what kind of project management activity amounts to how many PDUs. You can check their website for more details. Every 3 years, one must have acquired 60 PDUs to retain their PMP certificate. So first time, when you write the exam, you become PMP for 3 years. After this period, to renew your PMP credentials, you need to submit proof that you acquired at least 60 PDUs in the last 3 years and pay the PMI certificate renewal fee for your certificate to get renewed for another 3 years. You can conveniently do this online at www.pmi.org. Finally, let's look at what is PMBOK. PMBOK means Project Management Body of Knowledge. It's a book that PMI releases every 4 years. PMBOK acts as a textbook for the PMP exam. You can also think of PMBOK as a standard for project management profession.
Well, can anyone take up the PMP examination? Yes, provided one meets certain prerequisites. The prerequisite depends upon the person's formal education. As shown in the table, for bachelor degree holder, they have to have at least 4,500 hours of project management experience, and for someone whose highest formal education is high school degree, it's 7,500 hours of project management experience. In addition to this, there is some requirement in terms of total number of years of work experience as well. For the first category, one has to have at least 6 years of total work experience, and for the second category, it's 8 years. The 3 years within 6 years in the table means that 4,500 hours of project management experience should have happened in the last 3 years of total 6 years of experience. Lastly, one also has to show proof of attending 35 hours of project management training just before writing the PMP exam. There are many project management training companies who are PMI, R.E.P. Now what is R.E.P? Simplilearn is a global R.E.P of PMI. PMI R.E.P Training Institute means these training companies are registered with PMI as registered education provider. If you attend their 35-hour contact training, they give you 35 PMI contact hours certificate. You can use their certificate and submit that as a proof to PMI. Let me also inform you that one has to submit proof of everything, that is, your educational degree, your project management experience, etc., to PMI while submitting the online application for taking up the exam. PMI randomly audits such submission from time to time. So if you do not meet the prerequisite and still go ahead and submit the online exam application, there are chances of you getting caught. PMI disqualifies such application. Also, once your online application for taking up the exam gets approved, PMI sends an authorization letter. You must write the exam within a year of getting the authorization letter.
Now, Let me tell you more about the PMP exam. It's a 4-hour exam consisting of 200 questions. Out of this 200, 25 questions are not scored. But beware, you will not know what these 25 questions are. So you should answer all 200 questions with the same seriousness. PMI includes these questions to see how many test takers are getting them right. Based on this, they must decide to include these questions in future exam. It's like a survey conducted by PMI. Note that there is no negative marking. That is, you don't get penalized for wrong answer. So you should attempt all questions. If you are not sure about a question, you can mark it for review and revisit that question at the end of the exam, if you have spare time. The questions in PMP exam are related to various different aspects of the project management. These aspects are project initiation, project planning, project executing, project monitoring and control, and project closure. The percentage of questions from each of these aspects is listed on the table. We call these aspects as process group. PMI grades students on each of the 5 process groups, and based on this grading, they declare PMP pass or fail. How many grades one has to score to pass the PMP exam is not made public by PMI. The grading is proficient, below proficient, and moderately proficient in each of the 5 process groups. Getting confused with so many new terms? Hold on for a moment. You will learn them in the next slide. For now, assume them to be the 5 major topics and percentage of questions that typically comes from each of these topics. There are 3 terms I would like to introduce here. First, let's see what process group is. The whole project management discipline is divided into 5 broad process groups. They are project initiation, project planning, project execution, project monitoring and control, and project closing. You probably might be aware of them as well. When a new project starts, it's in the project initiation phase. From initiation, it moves to planning, then to execution, and monitoring and control, and finally, it's closed. Project execution and project monitoring and control processes go hand in hand. So when a new project is started, that is, initiated, all processes of project initiation process group should be applied to the project. Similarly, when the project is being closed, all processes of project closing group should be applied. Let me give you more specific examples. Identify risks is a process of project planning group. So when the project is in planning phase, you must identify all the risks of the project. Next, let's see what is a knowledge area. As per PMBOK, there are 10 knowledge areas. For example, human resource management is one of the knowledge areas. Knowledge area is a set of specific processes required to be performed to meet a project objective. A knowledge area may have some processes to be done in project planning process group and some other processes to be done in project monitoring and control process group. For example, if you take human resource management knowledge area, develop human resource plan is a process in the project planning group, and another process, manage project team, is in the project execution group. Lastly, there are 47 process areas. We have already come across two such process areas: develop human resources plan and manage project team. If you are totally confused by now, don't worry. This is the whole exam syllabus, and there is one lesson dedicated to each one of these topics. For now, just remember, there are 5 process groups, the 10 knowledge areas, and the 47 project management processes. Let me give you an overview of all the lessons of this tutorial. In all, we have 14 lessons.
The current is the first lesson, which is an introduction to the PMP certification. Lessons 2, which is named as Project Management Framework, aims to explain what project and project management is all about. It also explains some related terms like program management, project management office, etc. So, Lesson 2 can be considered as an introduction to the project management. Next, Lesson 3 aims to explain the 5 project management process groups that we discussed some time back. Just to recap, these process groups are initiation, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing.
From Lesson 4 till Lesson 13, the 10 project management knowledge areas are explained. One lesson dedicated to each of these 10 areas. In addition to the 5 process groups and 10 knowledge areas,
PMI
gives a lot of weightage to professional and social responsibility. So there is a chapter dedicated to it.
However, as stated in introduction, starting 31st of August 2011, it is no longer tested separately. We have explained a few tips and tricks for the PMP exam on our blog. We suggest you go through it once. It might be of great help. Along with the tips and tricks, we have also listed what is called PMIism. Now, what is PMIism? Well, PMI has a certain way of thinking, and PMIism is a compilation of the same. You might not agree to all of that, but you must know this to pass the PMP exam. Let's quickly take a look at a PMIism example. You must be using the word task in your day-to-day project execution to mean a project-related work, but PMI never uses this term. Instead, they use the word activity and work packages. This is PMIism.
There are many such things that we discussed in our blog. At this point, I would also like to add that at the end of each of these lessons, we have a quiz.
We strongly support to take up the quiz and also look at the explanation of all the questions.
Those which you got right, as well as those which you got wrong.
This would help to get a better grasp over the subject.
Once you are through with these 14 lessons, you can go ahead and start taking our online practice tests.
This marks the end of our Lesson 1. Let's do a quick recap of what we learnt so far. In this lesson, we learnt about the PMI and PMP. We also got some information about the PMP exam format itself and looked at the prerequisite of taking up the PMP exam.
Finally, we covered the syllabus, the PMP examination, wherein we explained the 5 process groups, the 10 knowledge areas, and the 47 project management processes. Before marking the end of Lesson 1, we also saw how the whole Simplilearn PMP preparation course is categorized in 14 lessons and what each of these 14 lessons cover.
Thank you and happy learning.